Whatever it is you're doing right now, stop it. This right here is the pinnacle of 1/44th scale perfection. Flawless detail, painted parts, an armory fit for a king, or should I say, fit for a knight. A round table knight. This right here is the newest addition to SNAA's BE 1/44th scale, the Round Table Knights line of kits, aka the Beyond Exquisite or almost real grade like line of kits. This is 1/44th scale, mainly in name alone because it is pretty big, and the quality to price ratio here has just been absolutely blown apart. This is insanely good. This entire line right here has been impressive since its inception, since we first saw the Thunder Insize Grace, which compared to what we're seeing right now is a little bit floppy and a little bit lackluster when it comes to overall detail and stuff. But this right here is the pinnacle. This is ridiculous. Full inner frame build, beautiful armor on top, a ridiculous pile of weapons if you do get this version. There are two versions of this available, the standard version, which just comes with the Percival itself, as well as a pair of staff-like weapons. But the full Deluxe version comes with 7 swords on top of that, as well as a full display stand and cloak. This thing is ridiculous. This is the SNAA 1/44th scale Divine Invoker Percival. Well, starting right into it with the unboxing, or should I say unbagging, because this looks like a big old brick of narcotics. Just in case you're wondering what's going on here, this was my first time ever, believe it or not, buying off of AliExpress. So that does mean there is an option on there I didn't notice, which is buy it with the box or without, and I guess I got it without. Well, it would have ended up in the bin anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but whoa, is this thing packed. Inside of this, we've got tons of beautiful, beautiful plastic. A manual telling you how to put this together, and I will admit this is a super clear manual. After going through some of these, some of Bandai's especially oldish to mid-old kits kind of are really unclear in comparison. Also, we do get some water slide decals, but it is build miss today, so I won't be taking a look at those. This is build 30 of 50. I miscount. I actually miscount the last SNAA kit, the Tristan, which I thought was brilliant, but this eclipses it. Anyway, about that build. So when it does come to the build of the Percival right here, I'm going to speak like you know nothing about these kits. If you do know about them, you kind of got the groundwork in your brain already. Basically, these are like real grade kits, hence the BE logo looking like the real grade logo, which means you do have a full inner frame inside of these, albeit big, 1/44th scale kits. Now, compared to the BE kits I would have built before, this manual actually doesn't tell you to build a full inner frame first and then build on the armor afterwards. The whole manual just goes through the building of the leg, head, waist, torso parts in their absolute entirety, so that's what I went and did today. But I will mention, inside of this there is a full inner frame as usual. It's rock solid, better than ever, and so's the detail on top of this. On completing a single leg, you've got tons of colors on here, multiple shades of white, at least 2, some beautiful purple. The golds in here are painted, and there are some clear parts, but not just yet in the legs. Overall, impressive. Pushes together perfectly, like butter, beautiful. As you continue along the build, it's exactly the same. You build it up with a kind of inner frame element and stuff attaches on. Again, I didn't do that for this, I just went right through start to finish. When we've got the waist unit complete, as you can see, every skirting armor has that nice mechanical grey detailing on the inside, so it's not just hollow parts. Beautiful. Gold everywhere too. The torso builds up similarly to the previous kits we would have seen, with the same nice sliding joints up in the shoulders. Everything else has some great articulation on the inner frame aspects, and then you pile on that beautiful detail. The sculpting on the parts, the molding, the panel lining, everything is beautiful. Then you finish it off with almost shark fin-esque outer torso connect to the shoulder kind of moving joint outer abdomen sections. What can I say? They're cool. Overall, beautiful when done. Same beautiful level of detail when it comes to the arms. You build a full inner frame, you layer on the armor onto that. We've got 2 shades of white to make it look extra beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, the shoulders on this are incredible. You layer up lots of nice inner frame detailed parts and then pile on the armor in white, gold, and that purple on top. Looks beautiful finished and great articulation and finished build again. This thing snaps together perfect, no issues. Well, there are some issues, but I'll mention that in a bit. The backpack in here builds up almost with a pair of what look like iron-blooded orphans Ahab wave reactors, and on top of that then you layer on a bunch of paneled armor. We've got some kind of pivoting wing segments. This can also move up and down ever so slightly, but overall fairly plain, but looks beautiful. The head design of this is absolutely stellar. I will mention you've got a choice of eyes in here that's gold or clear blue. I went with the gold because that's what's on the art. The eyes are fully color separated, then you layer up tons and tons of detail as you normally do. Be careful of the spiky bits on this, some of them are sharp. The gold parts are quite soft, so you could bend them by accident. And the kind of issue I do find sometimes with this kit is sometimes two parts are held together via pressure by a part that pushes in over both of them, pinning both of them together. On the head I did find it kind of hard to get the front section in to do this, and this happens occasionally on the kit. That does mean these lock together permanently very well, but it can be hard to hold both parts together while trying to slide the clip-like section over. Otherwise though, beautiful in the end. When it comes to the final assembly on this, everything just pops together again perfectly. This is a way better build than we would have seen from the first ever kit, being the Thunder Inside's Grace. They've absolutely managed to pull it together to one of the greatest little 1/44th scale. It's not little, I keep saying little, but it's not little. It's almost master grade sized, but yeah, it all fits together perfect, and what you get in the end is absolutely gorgeous. And if you do get the deluxe version, which has the extra stuff, you're only halfway there. As for what comes inside the box with the deluxe version, first off we've got some capes. These build up with some nice beautiful clear parts with some grey and gold and white on top of them. These are for ball jointing into the shoulder segments, which we will take a look at later on, but for now we're going to be putting them to the side. Next up in here we move into the weapons, and we've got a pair of what seem like crab claw stabs. These are very simple, and I think these come with the standard kit. Gold pincers on the end, purple little obelisks in between those, and very simple but nice weapons. But completely outshone by what we're going to see next. Do you like swords? Because I love swords. And one thing I always had a little bit of an issue with this particular line is there's a lot of kits called knights, and we're not seeing a whole lot of swords. Some big swords, but a lot of axes, scythes, and various other stuff that's not swords. I like to see swords with my knights. This kit brings the swords, all of the swords, 7 swords in total, on top of what we just saw. You're building and building and building and building. There are just so many of them. The detail on each one is great, and they all vary. There's no repeats here at all. They're all different. Whether you want ones with big, massive, broad greatsword blades, somewhat skinnier ones with crystal blades, ones with curved blades, there's tons in here. And you also get an included stand too. This builds up very similarly to one of Bandai's action bases, like the 4 or the 5. However, it is a lot bigger, a little bit more sturdy, but at the same time, a little bit harder to attach together. At times I thought the plastic felt a little bit on the brittle side, but never once did it give up on me. It never cracked, it never broke, so even though it may feel brittle, it doesn't seem to be. On top of that, you've got some curved little segments as well, which have really fun little attachment points for attaching the swords onto. These aren't just 3mm pegs, but I will talk about that a little bit later on. From start to finish, the way this kit is designed, the way it builds together, is absolutely mesmerizing. If I was wearing a hat, I would tip it right now to those awesome designers over at SNAA. They are killing it. Let's check out the aesthetics. So jumping now right on into the aesthetics, and this is what the Divine Invoker Percival looks like out of the box, just snapped together with nothing done but a little bit of lining on the muzzle on the face. That is it. Besides that, this is it out of box. None of the accessories attached just yet, so we can take a good look at the mech. This is over the top. The layering of parts is incredible. The design is incredible. The way everything fits together, all the tiny little bits of detail, it all looks great. Also, the gold on here is painted out of box. The vast majority of this kit is undergated, so you're not going to be nipping away from that gold plastic, making nasty little nubs. But even in the places where you do, the plastic underneath is very similar to the gold, so you won't really notice it too much. But yeah, no matter where you zoom in on this kit, there's something beautiful to be seen. Nice angles, pointy bits, and overall just the attention to detail even in close is absolutely astounding. Beautiful detail. Zooming on in a little bit more to take a look at the details up close. When you get right on into the face here, we do have fully color separated eyes. This is a ridiculous, definitely very Chinese style design when it does come to mecha model kits, but done very tastefully. We've got some nice sweeping angles, the almost Gundam V-fin element bladed towards the back. The color separated eyes look piercing, and even from dead on this looks beautiful. Sometimes some designs look good from the side, not from the front. This one looks great from every angle. Down in the torso, we've got some great bladed vents in the chest which come out beautifully in that beautiful painted gold. The forearms are nice on here. We've got some great layering. Again, beautiful gold round back. The hands are nicely sculpted. I will mention the exact same hands we've seen across the line so far. The skirting armor again layered brilliantly, beautiful greebles, beautiful pan lines, and the layering of the gold underneath just looks astounding too. The legs on this looking ridiculously nice again. Great angles, great layering, great pan lining, just everything has been dialed to 11 when it comes to beauty. Down at the feet then we have some feathered ankles as well, and the kind of shade of purple that's been used in here, that nice soft lavender, really works well with the nice, beautiful angles and overall flowing details of the kit. So this kit right here is 1/44th scale, so that must mean, like, in reality, if this was to exist, it would be massive, because this is it beside a 1/44th scale Gundam kit, as well as a master grade, so it's almost the size of a master grade, making this what? A 30-meter tall mecha. That is pretty awesome. Even if you do throw it down beside a couple of other BE 1/44th scale kits by SNAA, this is the tallest, at least out of the ones I have so far, making the Tristan, which I thought before was an absolutely beautiful, perfect knight style kit. This one right here is even bigger, even more beautiful. However, it is a little bit more Chinese inspired in its design and a little less knightly than the Tristan. So that may come down to your own perspective, which you think looks better. Moving now right on into the accessories, and here's everything that comes with the deluxe version of the Divine Invoker Percival, and this is a ridiculous spread. Just check that out. What we get in here is a huge assortment of swords, 7 in total. We do have the cloak effect parts. I will mention there's a lot more hands in here than I'm showing. There's tons and tons of options in here when it comes to hands, just like we would have seen with this whole line so far, but because it's buildmas, I just built the ones I'm gonna pose this with. On top of that, we do have the 2 staff-like weapons, as well as the included stand here, which is absolutely feature-packed. There are some adapters as well for using with this, and look at that. That is just so much stuff inside of this box. Let's get it set up, because this has some great features. So it's time to get this kit up in the air, absolutely enrobed in clear effect parts with a ton of swords circling it. That's the kind of thing this kit does, and does beautifully. In order to do that, first you need to attach on the included clear effect cloak. To do this, you need to pull out some little plug sections from the shoulders, front and back, and then these attach in via ball joints, which allow these to flow very, very nicely. Sometimes I thought they fell off, but no, they just kind of flow very fluidly, not loose, but just very nicely. There's some that plug into the sides of the shoulders, and in order to get the cloak onto the backpack, you do have to remove a couple of parts, which is a little bit on the sad side because these nice big bladed parts look good, but the clear effect parts look somewhat even better. Once popped on, that's what they look like. Throw it onto the back, and that is what it looks like with the robe on. So next up then in here is the stand. Now I might have mixed this up at first with the Bandai Action Base 4 because I tried to plug it in up top, and well, yeah. So you don't actually plug this into the crotch. We do have a little base adapter in here, which attaches in under the backpack. You then throw that onto this base. Aligning it is a little bit more difficult than one of Bandai's offerings. The very lower switch for changing the angle at the bottom of the stand is blocked by the part it attaches into, so you do have to pull it out of the base to press the switch, to angle it, to close the switch, to put it back in again. But basically this is not really a stand you're going to be throwing around the place all at the time. It's kind of like pick your display and throw it into it. That's what I did, got it into a little bit of a pose, and it's time to attach on the swords. Now each of these swords just look phenomenal. When it comes to the big great sword in here, I'm going to attach it into the hand, but if you do want to store it on the base, it attaches into this little display section in the front, this little mount, which is a very beautiful touch. But when it does come to attaching all 7 of these swords, which I will mention, like I said before, are all completely different from each other entirely, we have the nicest little attachment points. Each weapon in here has a little cutout slot in it that you wouldn't really pay too much attention to. It looks like part of the detail. This lines up with one of the particular little attachment points on the big plastic clear halo section. They just attach onto it almost seamlessly. You wouldn't even notice this attachment point when they're attached on. This is so much nicer than your typical kind of Bandai 3mm peg hole. This is so natural, so organic, and works out well. Each one is completely different from each other, so you know exactly which one to attach it onto. They fit on flush, fit on perfect, and once you've got them up on this, you can actually pose this stand around so you can have them up in the air, around the mecha, at different angles, whatever you want to get the pose and the kind of flying, sword combo that you want, because you can rotate them on there as well. You can get them wherever you want. Beautiful. Next up, as for the greatsword, I'm going to be popping that into the hand. It looks beautiful, by the way. Similar to the one we would have seen with Tristan, but a little bit different. When it comes to attaching it into the hand, it's the usual sandwich routine. Your sword is the ham. You split the hand into 2 slices of bread and then build a sandwich out of it. Simple, it holds on perfect, locks into the wrist perfectly. And as for the other hand option, I went with the wide spread hand because I'm just going to copy a pose from the manual. But there is a ton of different options, even this kid throwing up the devil horns. I mean, there's a whole lot. It's pretty cool. Finally then, with the Percival attached onto the base, I will mention one thing. The base to the backpack is a good connection, but the backpack to the mecha is a little bit loose. So you know, if you move it around a lot, it can fall off. So just be a little bit wary of this. You might want to angle it slightly upwards as opposed to downwards. But anyway, that right there is what it looks like. That is the BE 1/144th scale Divine Invoker Percival up on its stand, with all 7 of its swords attached as well as its cloak. This thing looks ridiculous. If this is the direction this line is going, I am so hyped by it. From the first one, which was kind of simple and kind of a bit of a Gundam frame knockoff, to the nice designs we've seen afterwards, to this here with an absolute massive full-on display with it. This is a crazy 1/44th scale kit, one of the greatest I have ever seen. Like I said at the beginning of the video, stop now because you need this kit. It's not that often that I'm like 100% buy it, 100% get one, get one, get one. Make sure to get the deluxe version as well because it's got all the awesome swords. Sure, there are a couple of little bits that don't push together as perfectly as they could, and a little bit of cement will help with that, but overall, brilliant build experience up there with Bandai, most definitely. It is perfect. Out of box, you're going to have a good time. No bad fittings, no overly squeezing anything besides some parts that need to be pinched together a little bit, but maybe my technique is just bad. Overall, this is phenomenal. Looks beautiful. Everything about this is 10 out of 10. I don't usually rank these kits, but Gundam tier, 100%. It is that good. You've got to try it. I recommend 100%. How many Knights of the Round Table are there? How many have they released so far? How many are coming out? Because I want to know how many more steps of quality SNAA are going to step up, because this is ridiculous. You need it. But yeah, there we go. That was build 30 of 50 for Buildmas. And honestly, for a rounding out number, a nice clean number like 30, I couldn't have asked for a better build. It didn't take that long, maybe about 5 hours or so, and it's perfect out of box. Highly recommend. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Mecha model kit reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, this video right here and every single video I make would not be possible without each and every one of you guys who watches this video. And special thanks at the end of this video right here to those who support on the channel memberships as well as over on Patreon, including Caleb Engelhart, Joe, OG59061, Scotty Thomas, and Simon.